the very, very few people getting this message. We want to prove to the whole world that the impossible dream can happen.
You are it. Welcome to another week in the WholEarth game. Can you believe it? This has been a one whopper of a week now. We are looking at ourselves as the victims of some amazing storm action. But you know that the people that we have, perpetrated in the other parts of the world with bombs made in the USA, have been part of this cycle for the last several years. Anyhow, on we go. So the last week for me was being firsthand affected by the storm in all kinds of ways. Well, that's the next storm coming. This is the next one coming. And we are right in the bullseye. And I live in California. I'm going to be safe as a human being. I'm in a good, safe place. But my kids, both of them, are involved with the city of St. Petersburg. And one has a group of friends, and one is all by himself. And it's a very interesting time to think about what's going on in my life. I mean, you're seeing the duality. So what's happening too for me is it seems that we are smack in the middle of this like Civil War 24. It's the Civil War of 2024 in which every family is being divided by this ridiculous notion of an authoritarian, complete imbecile, complete brainless, the worst person you would ever want to know, the person who never did any work, guy that never did anything for anybody else is running to be commander in chief of what's left when he becomes part of that thing. I gotta say, I don't feel good about it, but we're going to persevere no matter what is given to us. We are going to remember that we're not alone, and that God is really the good in all of us. The word good applies to all things equally, and God was only there for people who pay, the way I can see it. So we're going to go for the good, our better angels. I told my son, I'm in our house, we're having a Civil War 2024. It couldn't be more divisive. This could not be. But it's interesting because this time we don't have a person like Lincoln to put it together for us. We have Harris. Kamala Harris is able to, show us there is a way past this other thing, and it's a rules, it's a law and order type of government. I mean, and it feels too good to be true, but that's what we have. We have to use faith that it's too good to be true. Now, so what if Walls and Harris turn out to be even more villainous than Donald Trump? Can you imagine this? I mean, you have to be able to look at it and say that there's two sides to every story, and that is a possibility. But I think I would rather bet on these two. That's what we have to do. It's making it very, very clear. This has been designed so that we have to make a clear choice to be sheep or to be even a modicum of individuality. You know, it's really coming down to that. We have to really. Election should be Civil War 24, Civil War 2024. So we need this female uniting thing. Now, before the program, I had been speaking with Renee. Renee, come out here and say hello to the people.
Hey, hello, people. It's been quite a week.
Is it sexist to tell people that you're just so cute?
Oh, no, I don't think so. You're cute too. We're cute together. I love it.
Cute is good.
Cute is really good. Cute is really, really good.
Well, if you think I am and it helps me get where I need to be with you, then I'm going to use it for everything it's worth. And then
Use it,
thank
baby.
you
Yes,
so much,
we are
baby.
both very cute.
You're awesome. Okay, stop it.
Thank you.
Happily married. All right, on to the next adventure. So we're talking about this thing now. Here's the point: is that if we use philosophy, if we're stoic about this, so be stoic about things you have no control over. You know, are we going to take, responsibility for all the things that were done to this planet, before we were born to get it to the place where it is right now? But here's what's happening. It's just a natural cycle too. There's nothing that man or, anything has done. There's no reason for guilt. This is part of the entire cycle of our Earth and our solar system and our sun and our galaxy. In fact, our galaxy is going through changes all throughout the galaxy. I don't know if you have a picture, anything that I had, of what our galaxy, just a simple Milky Way picture. If you go to one of my,
Yep.
Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and you can see that the intro to Emerald Tablets of Thoth is pretty much just it's a restarting with the idea that we're just a speck of dust on a huge beach, and this little speck of dust is part of some amazing other thing. And the other thing that we talk about in that, that line of thinking is the all. So you're never alone. I was trying to explain to my son. He's like, well, that might work for you. He's telling me all about, I said, well, my feeling of being part of this great game, came as a very early kid. I could see kids from the crib. I could see people walking up and down the halls, and I knew we weren't alone. So, I had been part of that and understanding very early, an indigo child. And then, so I always knew kind of the better way and whatever. Oh, is that smarty pants. But anyway, what you do. So I was looking at, I like the book Siddhartha. Oh, there you go. So that's where we are. And if we scroll forward a little bit, you can see there's kind of the way it pulls forward. That's just the way it used to look before we had Hubble and before we had all these great telescopes. This is what we knew and knew to be kind of real. But that, imagine, anyway, it's just our little troubles. But this is part of our community, so we're part of this all. The our all really, I believe, if you could just get your mind around the galaxy as a whole, and this is our neighborhood, this is our galaxy, and we're all getting an energy upgrade right now because the center of the galaxy has just given up. Burp. And it's taken 2,000 years. So some would say that the coming of the Christ, the last incarnation of Christ, the 2,000-year-old Christ, the Jesus of Christ, the Christ that person, may have come at the day that explosion started from the center of the galaxy and started sending its waves towards us. And you would say that maybe 2,400 years later, 2,500, almost on the money, 2,500 years later, we're hit with a massive upgrade of energy that came from the center of our galaxy. This is what's happening right now. We're starting to get this wave as a group right now. Okay, started there and it's hitting us. Okay, now, and it's just one after another. It's just like any other wave is one after another. So the tsunami of love, see, because light is life and life is light, and we are somehow part of this experiment to enjoy the flavors of earth before we're just, wiped back into the eternal bliss. So why would it be the eternal, damnation? Forget that, make it the eternal bliss. If anybody's trying to tell you that you're going to be going to the wrong place, you step away and go away from that right away. Make sure that you understand that you're exactly where you need to be And we're all going forward. Even the ones who didn't understand that they were going forward are going to go forward. Isn't that crazy? That's what a wave does. It doesn't have another way. Renee, are you getting that?
I'm getting it, but it's very profound. This is like really deep stuff. This is not totally simple, I think.
Really?
I don't think so. I think
See,
there's
let me
layers
help you.
here.
Let me help you. Let's simplify this thing down. First thing we need is a place to sleep tonight.
Yep.
Clean water. Everyone gets clean water because it's part of the experiment. Food, we all get food. That's part of the experiment. You got to find your own. And that's where your free will comes in, because you can eat like a pig or you can eat great.
Mm.
Depends on you. It doesn't matter. I do both. It's fun. Don't be guilty. Okay. Housing, water, food, that gives you energy. Now, what you put in, you get out. Am I right?
Heck yeah,
Am I right?
absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
Simple. Now, is
yeah.
that complicated?
Now that's not complicated. That's
Okay.
distilled
Now,
down to the
here
reality.
we go. Here we go. What is that picture? Can you focus in on that hammer and nail thing? This is actually Nietzsche. This is like some of the most profound philosophy you can even imagine. I didn't even know that people were thinking about this.
Yeah.
This graphic came to me. I sent this to a designer from Art Center, and
Mhm.
he was a very interesting person on his own account. And I said, I need these things. And he came back with these icons. You cannot. Okay, the hammer or the nail. Having the ability to even think of either one puts you into the super God realm of thinking. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I get that part. Absolutely.
There's nothing else in this universe that we know that can think like we can. And of course, if we were just talking about this, the question is to be the hammer or the nail. Now, this leads me into a story I don't want to talk about, and I think we have enough time for getting this because this is a great story. It's Siddhartha. And you and I were talking about this, and I really want
Yeah.
to tag in from time to time. You're part of this.
Okay, thank you.
Your
Thank
voice is a darling voice, and you are the reason that we're here.
thank you. I appreciate that.
If you're all listening, you should be listening. You should be paying attention. If you're anybody's friends with Renee, then she is my witness.
Thank you.
So, as Renee is my witness, we are all. Remember, we had the sovereignty. We took the pledge of human sovereignty on my birthday on 7/14/2024.
Yep.
That day, I was 64 cycles around this planet. And do you remember what day it was in Mayan years?
I don't remember no, I absolutely do not. I know it was
Well, look, in
7:14
Mayan years
was
today, this is today's Mayan date,
okay.
13.11.17.7. Look at all those sevens. And let's do some numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's okay, 4 and 2, 6. So 6, 17. No, I can't do that. It's 18. No, that'd be 8. Okay, so sometimes you can combine the numbers that are together, like 4, 13 becomes 4, and 11 becomes 2, right? And then 17 can become 8. See, you can play games like that.
Yeah, that is very cool. I love that because
Wiggle room.
everything is
Now,
numbers.
this
Everything
simplifies it. Again, keep it simple, right? There's only 9 digits.
right.
Okay, so, and what we're really concerned with, to make it really simple, is that the 5 things are required, but then the rhythm of these 5 things by Tesla showed us that 3, 6, 9 are the numbers that we look at in those kind of areas. And 3, 6, 9 become very kind of like these are the patterns that we're looking for to see if something's going to become alive, I would guess. I mean, it's entirely up to you. Everything I say is my own opinion, of course, but based on a lot of study. So the 5, so the 3 is the crystal. The 5 is the crystal. Now, the crystal would be something like a mountain. Okay, a mountain with consciousness. Can you imagine the mountain? Okay, imagine the
Yep.
entire crust of the earth. has that particular consciousness. That would be
Wow.
a two-dimensional, like a three-dimensional. That's a three-dimensional crystal consciousness, and that consciousness says you will be a stone, minerals stuck together. Okay. Now, the next one that we're looking at in the Fibonacci sequence is the 5. So 5 becomes, I believe, the seed number, and that's those things. So we have the housing, the house is the seed thing, the water is what we add to make it grow, and it moves into infinity and just continues to make a plant. And that's the same pattern that goes on with every single life form. Okay. Does that sound complicated or something you can
No.
understand?
I can understand that. Now I can grok that. I can grok that now. Yeah.
So everybody, like, it goes from like 5 to 8, I believe. The number starts with 1 plus 1 equals 2 plus 1 equals like the one side of life, if you will. And then it needs to have the sperm, which turns it into this like next thing, 5, the egg, and then it goes from 5 to 8 almost immediately. But it's like lightning. And that's the energy that's passed through from one life to the next, you see?
Yeah, that's gorgeous. I love that. So that's like a sacred thing. That's sacred energy. That's life-giving infused
Well,
energy.
but then it moves into this number 8. Now, this is part of the lie that goes going on since this Christianity was designed to separate people from their conscious understanding of the benefit of life on earth, and following the ideas that kind integrity leads to kind afterthought. I mean, this is still what we're doing. I mean, if you're in the game, if you know how to play this game, then you're doing more good than you're taking back. You're just one of those people. You just give. You can't help yourself. You're just in it. So you're welcome to the game. And we're helping the other folks get our way too, because that's really what, no matter what, at what level, it's still about giving. The humblest people are the ones who are still most giving people. I mean, even at the street level, no question about it. But then we should be providing them with the proper basic needs of a house and clean water and place to sleep and place to eat and have some food to get energy so they can move forward into a life of more or less suffering. Do you see? Anyway, we're talking about Siddhartha. Siddhartha now was a very stubborn boy, as you remember, and he basically wanted to become this like guru. He wanted to learn how to meditate and be with the highest level of Swami. I'm not quite sure, and please forgive me. I don't know the right terminology, but the masters of the art of meditation he wanted to follow, and his father said, no, I have other ideas for you. I want you to do something else. He says, no, I'm not going to do it. He's held his basically stood on one leg for months until he got what he wanted. That's how he handled his father. Okay, finally I had to release him. So then he went to those people, the masters, and became the highest level master you could possibly be. And they left him wanting too. He couldn't find the level. There was another level. Like learning to meditate to the highest level is what he did. And he became a master at it. You cannot get higher in the level of meditation than Siddhartha did with the masters. Am I saying it right, Renee? Did I get it right?
Yeah, that resonates with me. I think that's perfect terminology right there.
Okay, at one point though, something catches his eye. He sees the courtesan, Kamala. Of all names, of all people, the courtesan's name was Kamala. And what happened? Renee,
Well,
what happened?
she becomes the one woman, the one person who can really touch his life and take him to the next level.
I would say he fell in love.
He fell in love, absolutely.
And he was willing to do whatever.
Yep.
And when
He
he
was
came to her,
transformed.
remember what happened? He came to her and she says, "You're just a nasty, dirty beggar guy. You stink. Ugh. I would never
She
go
wasn't
anywhere near
impressed.
someone like you. You're just disgusting." She threw him out. He had to go through that. If you do something, you make some money, maybe I'll come see you. But it's going to cost you lots of money. Kamala was the most sought after courtesan in the entire region. She was the number one, if you know what I'm talking about. She knew how to please a man. She could have anything she wanted, anything she wanted. He had to work for her. So he became willing to let go of all of that piety, all of that ability to meditate better than anyone else. All of that he gave up so that he could be with her. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Renee?
I love that because I just found a photo from a movie of them together so that we can have some visual here.
Yeah, you want to do that? Talk about
Yeah,
a movie. All right. Oh,
wow.
come
See,
on.
that's
That's
where I
pretty
was when I
fun.
wasn't him.
Like you stink. Oh, he's
Yeah,
like,
she's like, "Get away from me," and then he wins her over. Look, he's giving her a flower. He's giving her a flower.
okay. Anyway, I know. Yeah, that's good. Good. That's what they look like. Bullshit.
That's what we can imagine,
What
just to
they
sort of
look
think of them
like
as
is
real people.
your head, okay? Whoever you think, I think Kamala Harris. I think you should put Kamala Harris up there and Tim Wall. There you go. There. And what
There they
about
are.
No, no, we want her and her husband, because they're together. Okay. But he's not running for president. She's running for president because she knows what she's doing. Okay. She's running for president because we need Kamala Harris to heal this country. And then we got to make sure she doesn't get assassinated. That's the next thing we got to watch. Because, she's the one we need. We need her for 8 years. We need her a couple terms. And then we need Harris. We need everybody. This is not going to, it's not going to be that easy. It's going to be really, really hard. Okay, and then I guess every like Jill Stein is back in the race, siphoning off votes. And then Cornel West is doing it too, and uh, those are the people who changed the elections in the last elections to some degree. Now I don't believe that a bit. I think it was all rigged. I think it's rigged to be entertaining. I think it's part of this bigger game. I think that we're really going to have a close call, and then it's going to be a blue tsunami. But I could be wrong about it. And when I am, I'm just going to be upset. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. Basically, I'll have to go back to Florida, because here's what's going on in Florida. Do we have some pictures of what's in my street? Well, no, I don't. That's not the one. That didn't even happen yet. That's what I'm talking about. This is what's happening in Florida. Okay, we were just talking about this. Is that if you think about a spore of black mold and the relation to black mold versus a mustard seed, you would say that a spore of black mold to mustard seed was about the earth, same relationship as the earth to the sun. But we have to pick our entire house up looking, because this black mold is the thing that everybody's afraid of. Because if it gets involved, then it becomes, it attacks people's respiratory, it attacks people. So we had to tear our house apart. And now here's what's going on. If you want, continue forward. So that's what I did. I went over there and I stayed pretty much out of the way, and I got a couple of pictures of what was going on, and I, basically gave comfort and, provided the money needed to get this thing started. That's all our flooring up. We had some the hardwood. This is the day I went up to Ojai today, and I got a breath of, because this is one of what it looks like on the best day in California. And I took that picture just a few hours ago, just to remind me that there was another beautiful place, and it's called, up in Ventura and along Ojai and moving up there. And where I live is just is astonishing. Super happy. But what I'm going to say is that oh, here it comes, the fog monster. So that's the fog coming from the other side, and it's really gray back there. And so it's like you know, good days and bad days, they come together. So back at the game, so we were in Kamala. So basically, let's go back to Kamala and what's going on with that. So he falls in love with Kamala. We all got to fall in love with Kamala, and she is going to teach us the ways. And this is where we all bend a knee to the female side in us. And if we can do that, then we have fulfilled the Christ consciousness that is really calling on us to find our better angels moving forward. Well, now here's the thing. So he and Kamala had become, he had, it felt that he had to move on. There was a yearning inside that he would get back to his faith. And he decided, well, I've learned everything I could. I've been a glutton. I've made a lot of money. I drank. He was just, while he was courting Kamala and the sensual pleasures of life, he was really good at it, and he would win and he would bet, and he had all the money and resources to just have the best possible time. But he found himself disgusted with himself, as a lot of us do. We find ourselves completely, hitting bottom. I can't stand who I am right now. I want to step away from who I am to become somebody else. Now, if you have that feeling, then you're in a chrysalis mode. You're able to really transform. You're ready for what's coming. We're practicing. So we want to find our better selves. We have plenty of time moving forward. So anyway, he decides to move on. But sure enough, that last time they had sex, the best time they had sex, it was the most amazing sex they ever had. They were just saying that goodbye last. She was pregnant. In fact, that happened to me, my first marriage too. Last sex, and she got pregnant. Now, Kamala kept it to herself, though, and had the resources because she was the #1 courtesan and was very rich and had the big house and lots of servants and everything like this. She kept it away from him, didn't pursue him at all. She raised the child until he was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. At 8 years old, though, something happened and she found the spirit inside of her and realized that instead of being the courtesan and pursuing her own physical desire, that it felt better to become part of this other community. And so she went after and trying to give her son the gift of humility, followed and looked for Siddhartha, who has been working at the time, nothing major, basically just throwing in all the money to become a ferryman, to train, just take people across the river, across the Ganges, from one side to the next, from one side to the next, safely. Packages, people, just mundane things, stories and so forth. Govinda, his partner from early days and an early childhood friend, had followed the way of the Buddha. It actually followed the way of the man called Buddha. And Siddhartha at the time had gone for Kamala and stepped away from the Buddhist path of enlightenment. Instead, followed the physical attributes and had all of the sensual desires fulfilled, and decided to move forward, and he needed to do something else. So the way he would get back into the good graces of himself really is to be of service to others. And that's the big ta-da moment, to become the ferryman, to become the servant of others, to humiliate yourself and become ready to be the best possible person you can be. That's what we're talking about. So to wrap it up, basically, she shows up with an 8-year-old child, and then that night is bit by a spider and dies, and is caught in a fever and is irretrievably and cannot, and leaves him with a 8-year-old son who just lost his mother and despises Siddhartha. hates him. No matter what he does, he can never replace the mother that he stole by having him come there to find him. Because of him, it's all his fault. If she didn't leave the comfort of her own palace, he would never have had to blah, blah, blah. You know how they do. You know how they do. If you got kids, you know how they do. So I got a kid like that. And we're following this whole thing. But, anyway, Siddhartha, it happened to him too. And the boatman said, you need to let him go because the kid hated him. He just hated him. So one day he just stole everything, stole the money, stole everything, and ran away. And I think that one or two times Siddhartha ran after him and brought him back. First he beat him, then he scolded him, or first he scolded him, then he beat him, then he just did everything he could to keep him. Couldn't keep him, had to let him go. And the whole time the boatman is saying, you've got to let him go. I've got to let them go. We're all got to let our kids go. It's like it's time to let them go. See what happens. Let them find their own destiny. They'll make it. They'll make it. See, that's the thing. God has a plan, and the good has a plan for all of us. And we have to have the faith that we're on the right track no matter what. That's what having faith's all about. So anyhow, what's going on is we're getting ready. Now you can put the graphic up. That's fine. Show that other one with a purple line in it. That sucks. Okay. This is basically what's happening. And I have to wait now because the thing is very slow moving. Now, what's going on with the slow moving hurricane? It's pushing that water in one direction. Do we have a graphic of the St. Petersburg Peninsula? Do we have a graphic of the state of Florida?
No, but I'll get one. 1 second.
I think they're everywhere. If you want to
Yeah.
go to a news outlet, you can probably get it because
Yeah, absolutely.
this is what's going on, and it feels to me like a very slow-moving earthquake. After this storm, we may not or may not have a house.
Right.
If the tree comes this way or that, it could slam into that thing and be gone. Maybe sticks and stones, break your bones. Then that becomes a whole nother issue. So you cut the tree out, you demo the thing, you put the whole thing in the scrapyard, and you're going to go in and stick in a few containers and make it livable. And we'll start at 8 feet high. I mean, that's what I would do. See, I'm so quick to throw it all in the trash and just start with another thing. But I mean, that's what you have to do. That's how I'm dealing with it. If it's still there, which it's still going to be, it's going to be there. Yeah, let's take a look. Can you go up a little bit? There you go. You see, well, I mean, it looks like it's got a little right hook. It could literally go, it could go, it could, if it didn't hit us directly, that would be good. It would hit Miami. Now they can handle it. I don't think, see that? Can you find another one?
Yep, I'm trying to find more, as many as I can.
Yes. Well, if you go to windy.com, you get a screenshot there. Have you got Windy yet? We're doing a little thing. But anyway, so the physical part of it is that we're all going through it. But the thing about it is that what's the population of Florida right now? Anyway, I don't know either. But I would say 25% have been directly affected and have to change their way of thinking and way of living. And I would say 35 and 50% have been, put in shock. And I would say the entire region is in shock right now and is going to be changing the way it looks at everything. So residential homes got to start at least at 8 feet, I'm thinking. So we're going to, start moving some shipping containers out and looking at container housing. I would love to get into that game. I would love to, that would satisfy my need to go and produce housing to the high level that I agreed to with my creator, who said, you're going to do some crazy thing. And so what I can do is I can't really physically build these things, but I can help you to make a decision on what you want to live in next. I'll give you some options and what's going on in the market the way I can see. And together, hopefully we can get together in the comment section and move forward. And then we have some heavy hitters in the game. We got Kerry Harrison from KPFK might be joining us later. And then we have Mike Schmidt, and he's with the FEMA and Housing Authority. He's going to be coming back with some new ideas, I'm sure, about what they're going to talk about in terms of temporary housing, semi-temporary housing, semi-permanent housing, and actual permanent housing. There are several categories. So now what's this? There we go. There's Milton. So, I mean, there's Tampa. It looks like it might be hitting, looks like they're saying it's going to hit lower, which is not necessarily a good thing because the winds on the side are what's damaging, but you don't want to be at the eye of the thing, evidently. There's another storm. Anyway, that's enough of that. So thanks, everybody, for coming. That's the end of our half hour. I hope you show up next time, and we'll be talking about how to replace or repair the house that's damaged in the next couple days.
Did you want to show your let's see. I thought we had one more thing that we might want to be showing, but we can do that next time. That's okay.
You know, I don't really have anything prepared for tonight. So I'm still kind of in shock, and we're going to be finding out in the next, again, at the end of this time next week, we'll talk about what happened last week.
Right. Oh, okay. I remember what it is. It's the tour. It's the video tour of the St. Pete's house.
Sure. If you want to put that up.
I'm just coming part 2 here.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that stuff, it's just all got to be redone. So we get to remodel the entire house and start from brand new. Now the question is it going to flood again? And when? I've already got something growing there. See, it's Florida. Things are alive in Florida. Look at that guy. This is a beautiful bromeliad. And he's just as happy as can be. Didn't mind the storm a bit. Here we go. This is the outside of it. So you see where the water came up. You can see there. And then there's a few lines that you're looking for.
Actually, we did okay.
I'm looking for the water line, the high water.
I'm going to go ahead and waterproof all that. For the next, well, I would have done it if I had been there. I'll be doing it right now.
You can see where the
but we're going to let it flood again, see what happens.
There behind it, you can see where it came up.
And I'll be doing the same video. Next time I go there, I'll be doing the next video to explore the water lines and where things went. So I'm guessing all that flooring. Well, I know we're down to the first sub floor. We're going to allow that to flood one more time and then take that off after the flood and see what we really have to work with. And then we will start replacing from the joist to the subfloor. This time we get it all leveled out. And I'm going to be looking for, some alternatives along the way. Perhaps there's some liquid leveling techniques. There's some kind of waterproofing techniques that we can use. Maybe there's some different products that might work for if it gets flooded again. Maybe, I don't know. But we'll be showing you all about it. See you next time. One WholEarth game.
If you're one of the very, very few people getting this message,